What's your favorite scary movie?
They mostly come at night. Mostly.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Your suffering will be legendary even in hell.
They're here.
Welcome, victims, to the Horr-Gasm podcast. Kill the lights, lock the doors, get comfy, and prepare for the sexiest and scariest podcast around. I'm Nick, and with me is my co-host, Allie.
Hello! Surprise!
Surprise! Boo! Scary.
Ooh.
More
Wow.
zombies.
Yeah! Also, we changed our audio again this week, so that's fun.
Yes.
Because why not? We're just going to keep doing it till
We
we're
finally
happy.
got this set up the way we think we want it.
Yes. The audio, like what we're hearing is still a little weird, but what you guys hearing is velvety smooth
Yes.
and fun, and you can actually like really hear Nick now, which is
Yes.
exciting for me. And yeah, but that's all about growing and evolving, so here we are.
All it took was a little fiddling with our mixer and getting an extra part that we kind of needed, I guess, that we
Yeah.
didn't know about.
Yes.
And we're good to go.
And continually playing with Audacity. Like, it is a fickle mistress, I gotta tell you, because we touch one wrong thing, and then we had no audio whatsoever. Like, Audacity wouldn't even recognize the microphone or anything. So, yay.
But let's not bore our victims with this techno-babble
What?
gobbledygook.
Okay, I don't even know what we're talking about half the time, so.
We're here talking about horror shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombies.
So,
Yeah.
that's right, we're still in Zombie Month.
Oh my god,
And-
we still have one more. I feel like Zombie Month has been going on for like 2 years. We've been watching a lot of zombies.
We have been.
Yeah. Like just a lot of zombies.
Well,
Oh.
this week we did 28 Days Later.
Right.
And this is different than what we've seen before.
This is a weird one. This was definitely a weird one. Because it's kind of sort of zombies.
Yes. They're not dead. They're not undead. They're just infected people.
Right.
But they have the zombie characteristics of attack and
Kill, rip
kill.
apart. Yeah.
Not so much rape, just
I said
kill.
rip
Oh,
apart.
rape, sorry.
No, that's later in the movie.
The echo is
Yeah.
bugging me.
No, it's later in the movie when that happens. No, but the ripping apart, like it's just kind of finding something that's alive, ripping it apart, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's better. Yeah.
Ugh. Blah.
Blah. Ooh.
Any of that kind of stuff, though, because it's the same thing. I find this very Resident Evil-y. Don't you think?
Yes.
It very much so has a Resident Evil vibe.
A little bit, but Resident Evil is also real zombies. They're dead.
True.
They're brought back to life.
Right.
You know, undead. But the big thing with this is it's virus.
Yes.
They took rabies, they took some sort of disease, they were testing on monkeys to get a cure, and PETA comes and screws up again as usual. And it's cool how the transmission is similar, but it's much simpler.
Right.
It's not just a bite that gets you. A bite can do it,
Absolutely.
but the blood. If you get some blood in you, you're screwed.
Yes.
You're instantly infected, and it's a very, very fast infection rate.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point you brought up before, is that they're not actually dead.
No.
So
it's easy
they're...
to kill. The whole killing the headshots, out the window.
Yes.
Anything that will just basically kill a person will kill these infected people.
Right.
And they call it the rage virus, which
Right.
really works out
yes.
very... That's a good, well put name.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just like they're like on steroids, basically. And they just, like, their eye color kind of changes to red or...
Yeah, I like that. That's another thing that's cool, too.
Yeah.
They change the eye color. They really... it's a good change.
Yes.
And again, this was just before Dawn of the Dead.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. It was. Yeah.
Because this was like the fast zombies.
Yes.
Not like, Night... No, Night. Return of the Living Dead. Those were
Right.
fast zombies, too. But
Yes.
these were fast, running zombies.
Yes.
And I think Dawn of the Dead kind of took that idea and said, hey, it's scarier.
Yeah, they were like, we gotta do this.
And it is scarier.
Yes.
Instead of having he's just lumbering toward me, I'll just slowly slide to the left and chop.
Yep.
With this, oh crap, they're running at us.
Mm-hmm.
And just the reaction, the mannerisms. It's very zombie-like, but again, different.
Yes.
Like when we first see the pastor.
Yes.
Not the pastor, the father. The way he's kind of the walking, the jerky movements.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're fighting something.
Yeah.
Like their body is just kind of fighting in very, very. I don't know the word used.
Yeah, I know
spastic.
exactly what you're talking about. It's very spastic.
That's
Yes.
Yeah. And
It's like their body's spasming and they can't sort of control it.
mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. Like I wonder. I wish they would have kind of gone into the virus a little bit more, only because I would have liked to know like why. Like everybody always wants to know the why, right? Like they say it's kind of like rabies, don't they?
Well, it's implied, I think.
Sure.
We don't get the actual word.
Sure.
Except rage.
Okay.
When they first break the monkeys out, or apes, whatever
Yeah.
you call them, the Dr. Teo basically tells them, or scientists, they're infected.
Yes.
Well, with what? Rage. What's that? And
Right.
you don't get an answer because they let the monkeys out and they, they just goes right
Yeah.
after the one girl. And bites her, and then when I first saw this in theaters, it really, what got me was the whole vomiting blood. And I'm like, ugh, vomit.
Yeah.
And ugh.
That's a weird thing, you know? And it kind of reminds me of Left 4 Dead when they have the spitters. The
Yes.
spitters, that kind of stuff. But it's, we were talking about this kind of while we were trying to fix the audio. And it's like, do you think that they do that on purpose to infect others?
I think so.
And yeah, we kind of thought, well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because some zombies actually vomit, like throw up. And some,
This is
like...
the first. Like,
Yeah.
I'll say for movie-wise, this is the first I've seen zombies do that.
Where they vomit blood?
Yeah.
Yes, and...
And no time I've seen it. It's only like in this franchise, which,
Right.
hey, that's new, that's different, that works.
And it actually sort of reminds me, not this, but I meant to mention it when we were watching, where is the one that they throw up? It's Dawn of the Dead. It's the one where they throw up, right? Like, they actually throw up?
No.
The one where they're in the mall. There's people are throwing up.
No.
Yes,
When?
there was throw up.
Where?
With a big lady in the wheelbarrow.
She doesn't throw up.
Are you sure?
Yep.
There was one where they were throwing up. Anyways, so in Santa Clarita Diet, that's a movie actually about, or TV show about zombies. And that's sort of when you go through the change of turning into a zombie, you throw up. And it's basically you purge your whole body of everything ever, because you can't really eat again, right? And so then you throw up this little, like, it's like an ancient sort of a bug-looking thing too.
Oh.
And that's how you turn into a zombie. You basically die because you evacuate everything out of your body. And it's really gross. But
Yeah, that was not in Dawn of the Dead.
I thought that there was a part where people were throwing up.
No.
A
A lot of blood flying around, but
Yeah, maybe it was just a fever dream.
probably. I had a weird zombie dream last night.
Interesting.
Oh yes, it was kind of weird. It was weird. There's a predator in there too.
Just throw a few genres together.
Yeah, it
Nice.
was neat. It was a very different kind of dream. I have some vivid dreams, but just the whole, I think the zombie month is getting to me.
Well, we're almost done.
And I've been playing the new Predator Hunting Grounds game.
Sure, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's all kind of just all
Compounds together.
yeah, like here, movie, dream, have fun.
Oh,
And basically couldn't get away, the usual.
yep.
A lot of people getting killed, kept running away and hiding, rules,
Always.
if we're in a house, gotta have the lights off.
Yep.
Which makes sense. And the Predator was there too, and I'm like, crap, we got two things to worry about. And it turns out he was trying to get away as well.
Sure.
So we're just like, making a sign language, and apparently that I understood and he understood. And yeah, it was just weird. Weird but cool.
What a bizarre thing. Yeah.
Well, that'd be okay. So we're already talking chop. Let's let's add on here. We've seen zombie movies.
Yes.
If you could cross over a zombie movie with something other horror franchise, what would you pick and how would it work out?
You know, and when I think about that, I think of like really Friday the 13th, like Jason's a fucking zombie already.
He kind of is. Not at first.
Right.
Not at first. I think after he dies in 4, he becomes a zombie. But actual zombies, like let's say, what's a good example? Halloween.
Sure.
Let's have the Halloween franchise, Michael Myers, but at the same time, there's a zombie apocalypse.
Oof. Yeah.
Like, how would that work out? Like, oh crap, it's Michael. Oh no, it's zombies. They're attacking Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Or Michael's killing the zombies. Like, some would work, some would not.
Right.
Like, Remember on Elm Street would not work
No.
because it's in the dreams.
Right. Freddy has no hold over zombies. They don't fall
Exactly.
asleep.
Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. Oh, they're already in a secluded little house, so.
But you would have, like, the family being
Right.
surrounded by zombies.
Hmm.
Have Leatherface run out with a chainsaw just chopping them up.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Oh, he'd probably have fun.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like his jam.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Hellraiser versus zombies.
Yeah, it could work.
Because I know I've talked about this before, there is in the Marvel comic universe, they had a zombie apocalypse.
They did that in Archie comics too.
Cool.
It was weird.
What cool is that it's a different type of zombie in different types too, different versions of the comics, but basically all the heroes get infected.
Huh.
So you got Captain America zombie, zombie Wolverine, zombie Spider-Man, zombie Hulk, zombie every Marvel character is either a zombie or killed by a zombie. So
Cool.
It ends up with Galactus arriving on Earth. Zombies eat Galactus, and whoever ate Galactus gained the power cosmic.
Okay.
And they go and they spread it around everywhere.
Huh.
So it's a really cool read.
Yeah.
And they did a few versions. There was Marvel Zombies versus Evil Dead.
Oh God.
So we had Ash Williams
Yeah.
in the comic. At the same time, this is happening, and he's thinking this is Necronomicon doing it.
Right.
As opposed to it's not. It was, I guess, the Sentry kind of got infected and brought it to Earth somehow. It's a good read.
Huh.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I'm more interested in like how heroes would deal with it, I think, than like other horror guys, because I don't think that they'd really care. Honestly, it's just like, yay, carnage, death, anarchy.
Well, these also affected the villains too.
Right.
Like you saw Juggernaut trying to get away.
Right.
And they're just chasing down, and Juggernaut can't be stopped. Like he's got this. His power is not mutant. He's mystical.
Okay.
So he's got this gem that's kind of inside him that's giving him power. I think it's the Jewel of Sidrak or something like that. And with that, he is basically immortal. He can't be killed, can't be stopped, except for get the helmet off. Xavier can do the whole telepathic thing with him,
Sure.
but because
That would be
he
interesting.
fought Spider-Man, Spider-Man couldn't stop him.
Right.
Once he tried, he couldn't stop him. And finally, Spider-Man kind of tricked him into falling into this huge thing of cement. And he said, they showed him out after, he said for 4 months, he basically just walked forward through the dirt. He couldn't get out because he couldn't. Until he got to the ocean and kind of kept walking.
Huh.
And he said after 4 months, the best thing ever was that first breath of air because I hadn't been breathing for months. So that was
That's
cool.
crazy.
Pretty cool.
That would be fun.
But it's not done very much. There's always
Sure.
someone versus someone.
Yes.
And I know DC didn't really do that zombie thing yet. They had something similar with the Green Lantern Corps.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
With the Black Lanterns, where they basically brought guys back from the dead.
Sure.
But it wasn't quite like zombies
Okay.
as much as reanimated people that weren't trying to eat brains or eat flesh. They were just back to life and
Right.
angry.
Well, that's the thing with this movie is that they're not actually trying, like, I don't know how they sustain themselves, but they said even that they just eventually starve to death if they're not eating.
Well, they haven't tried it out yet because they had the one
Yes.
military guy. For 2 days he was
Right.
infected. And he hasn't eaten a thing yet.
Right.
And he's still kicking.
So, okay, so is it implied that they eat the people when they maul them? Does not
They bite you,
how
they bite
sustain
you,
them?
so they must bite. I don't think they eat much, but they must get a little bit in them and swallow.
Sure.
Because at the end, we see a couple just kind of laying there.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Not really doing much.
Because if they're still technically alive and anything with humans really can, like, kill them, then starvation.
You'd think that. Yeah, that was kind of touched on in the movie.
Right? Okay.
Didn't really
Yeah.
expand, but they kind of were. They touched
Yeah.
on it.
Kind of a missed opportunity. But anyways, we're already talking about the movie. Do you want to get into it?
I think we should.
Mark?
Wait.
Okay, so this week we obviously watched 28 Days Later. It's a 2002 horror movie, and it is directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland.
Cool.
There you go. There's the background.
This is one of those UK movies.
Yes.
So it got actually a pretty big release.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the poster. This is one of those ones where it's like, hey, Alana, when did you hear about this movie? And I'm like, last week. Ha, ha, ha. I actually remember the previews, like, on TV, like the trailers,
Yeah.
and being like, okay, this looks absolutely terrifying. And I remember going to the theater and seeing the big red thing with a biohazard and being like, oof, that's something I'm never going to watch. Like, it looks really intimidating. But because red, is always associated with horror movies. And it's just like, it
And blood.
looked so scary.
Because it's color of blood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was scary looking. But, yeah, it was good. I actually enjoyed this movie.
This is a good one.
Yeah, it was like a drama at the same time, kind of very, very Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Very Walking Dead. But, which is good. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, like, the whole beginning, everything reminded me of Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Like,
it really does.
which is, like, obviously this came out before Walking Dead, but it's just because, I've seen Walking Dead more.
I think it could be around the same time.
Really?
From comic wise.
Oh, I didn't think that it was that old, the comics.
Give me a sec. While I look, I'm also going to talk. When I first saw this, I thought this looked great.
Yes.
This looked like a good scary movie. I can't wait to see it. I saw it in theaters. Scared the crap out of me.
Hell yeah.
I was not a fan of the whole puking blood. I'm like, oh god.
Sure.
Oh god, what's this?
And it
That's
only
just-
happens a few times, but every time it happens, it's gross.
It's yeah, oh yeah. Oh
Ugh.
yeah.
That's too bad. Yeah, it's I obviously did not see it in theaters, but yeah, like I said, I remember the trailer and just being like going to see. I was 11 when this came out, so it's not like I was old enough to even see it, but
I liked it. When I saw it, I'm like,
Sure.
great, this is a good scary movie.
absolutely.
It's a good new take on zombies.
Right.
I liked it. So, Walking Dead started October 2003, so they came just a year
Okay.
after.
Okay. It was close.
Yeah. They may
Okay.
have the guy behind us saw this movie and like, that's a good way to open up.
Sure. Yeah.
You could have, I don't know, just
Not a
guessing.
bad idea. Yeah. Yeah, it is, but it is terrifying when you think about it, like the movie opening, and you're in a hospital, and you've been out for like a month, and you wake up and there's nobody anywhere. I just can't even imagine the level of hysteria you'd sink into, Ooh. Yeah. Not my jam.
That'd be tough. That'd be
Right?
different. Just, look around, there's no one here. No
Yeah.
sound. It'd be so quiet.
Yes.
There'd be no vehicles, no nothing.
Well, and you don't even know who to go to for help. Like, you don't know who will help you.
And we saw he tried to use the phone. No phones
Yes.
worked, no power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
that's a doozy.
That's something. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of vulnerability and, like, helplessness. Like, I can't even imagine. Ugh. And especially in the hospital, like, you have nothing. Like, if you were at your home, you could grab, some sort of identification, some food, that kind of stuff. But, like, the nothing is yours. And
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on, so you don't know that you can, rummage around and grab stuff. but he grabs like some pop from a vending machine and that's it.
And
Like,
does he ever? He
jeez.
has like a good bag full of Pepsi and
Yep.
and Tilt.
Yes.
Crazy, because this is a British show, so you got
Right.
British slang, British drinks, British food, British everything,
Right.
which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I enjoy the British culture. I love the British shows. This is a good movie.
Yeah.
And this is a good take.
I agree. Yeah.
Because usually it's always somewhere in America.
Yes.
It's always America. And
Yes.
This is like, nope, let's throw it in England. Okay.
Yeah, and I appreciate that change. I think it like and they use landmarks too, like talk about London and Manchester and Paris. Like they talk about
You
all
see Big
different.
Ben.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
talk about all the different kinds of places, and it's like okay. Like it's nice to see that change from because everything's always in America.
Do you think the Queen got away?
No,
No.
I don't think she got away. No, I think they talk about it kind of loosely. They talk about government, and they
That's
say, well,
right.
nobody survived.
That's right.
Like nobody. There is no government
That's
anymore.
true.
So I would just kind of rope that on in that something happened to everybody. But
Yep.
yeah.
Let's go through the characters. You're talking about them.
do it.
And they. So we have our lead character. We got Cillian Murphy as Jim.
Jim Bob.
And Cillian, he's known for playing the Scarecrow in the Batman Begins movies,
Oh.
the Nolan trilogy.
And Tom and Peaky Blinders,
That's
main
right.
character.
Yep.
Oh, and he's so good. He's so good. And I think that's the part near the end where he kind of like goes psycho and like
Well, I think
does a
he
bunch
kind
of killing.
Not psycho. He accepts that these are bad guys. I have to
Yes.
do bad things to protect my
Sure.
friends and family.
I mean, potato. I
That's
feel like he snaps a bit, but that's very reminiscent of Peaky Blinders. I feel like I've seen all those scenes.
And Cillian Murphy is not afraid to flash his dick.
Yeah, there's some full frontal in this.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay.
There's more male nudity in this than female, which is
Yeah,
rare.
Which I
rare.
very appreciated.
we had a little talk about that earlier, how some people prefer male nudity, others prefer female nudity. I'm more of a female nudity guy.
Right.
But, yeah, it's...
Yeah, it's
think-
always nice. I always appreciate it. It's like, okay, you're willing to go there. Because for some reason, I find like it's still kind of a taboo. Because if it wasn't a taboo, it would happen more.
Yes.
Right? It's like, why is it such a taboo? I don't understand.
And it's more, again, we've had this little bit of argument. I'm just going to say that it's more appealing to see a female woman naked as opposed to a male.
Okay.
That's just my view.
Right.
You say otherwise.
Yeah, well, I disagree.
Whatever,
I'm
fine.
throwing the mouse. I disagree, but just be like, I think that I'm totally for equal amounts of nudity of both genders, because, like, I don't mind either. So why don't we just see both? Like, but I just don't understand why it's such a taboo that, for men to have full frontal. I just
I
don't
think it's
understand.
also it's the biggest thing I think is that people want to see females naked more than men. They really do. That, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know, not like, especially like I work with an office full of females who would all disagree with you. Oh, I just hit Ichabod right in the face. I'm so
Or
sorry.
executive producer.
She's still sleeping. Oh my
But I
gosh.
think there's more though of a demand, like go back ways away years ago with Swordfish Holly Berry.
Right.
With her top-up scene, that was huge because
Right.
everyone got to see her top, and she was a big star at that time.
Right.
In the same movie, we got Hugh Jackman. It's less of an urge to see Hugh Jackman's dong as opposed to
Says who?
Halle Berry's boobs.
Says who?
I say a lot of people.
Because
I really do.
I disagree with that. And I know like most of my friends would disagree with that.
But for movie-wise, though, it's just... I generally think that the female body is more pleasant to look at than a naked man's.
I think because you're a straight male. I'm
Don't
just
bring
saying.
my strictness into this.
Well, like, I'm just saying.
And there's a lot of straight females who say the same thing, though. Like, ooh, she's got a nice body.
Totally. But, like,
Okay, then-
also, I don't think that it's... But if there was both, I don't think they would complain. I'm just saying.
What about lesbians, then? Would they be caring of seeing a male penis?
Well,
on
no.
the- as-
Not at all.
So,
It's not. I don't think it's the same thing. I just wish that it would be equal. Like, that's the thing, is that, like I'm not saying it's bad. That
no.
There's
Neither
just
am I.
so much more
Neither am I.
stigma around it for some reason, and I don't know why.
And I think it just comes to audience demand. I generally do think that female nudity is more accepted than male nudity.
I think also part of the reason is, like, I would think that men are self-conscious about it, and you could
agree.
also
I
be,
agree.
it could be a thing that, like, you know, people don't care if they're big boobs, little boobs, that kind of stuff.
They're
Like,
boobs.
for their boobs. But for men, that would really hurt, you know, if not everybody's well endowed, and you don't want to flash that all over, you know, the screen. I think that there's a lot that plays into it. Like, it's not as simple as just people don't want to see it. I think there's a lot that goes into it, into a decision like that.
True. And there's also, though, there's a lot of, how do I explain this? The urge to see the female body, though. Like, there's play-by offers. There's, and for actresses to allow themselves to be filmed naked is not just an easy decision to make.
Right.
Like, it's a big thing. You know,
Totally.
My privacy is now wide open. People know what I look like naked.
Right.
A lot of actresses don't do that because of morals.
Right.
And they don't think they have to go that far to get that role, that acceptance.
Totally. And, like, also, you know, in 20 years when your kids are watching movies, do you want them to be able to see that? I always think of that. That would be horrifying.
Yeah.
Right?
But also, though, when it comes to horror movies, you almost expect in the slashers
Right.
the woman to, at least one girl, to show her tits.
Right. It's part of the genre, and I just, like, it's, I don't know, it's just weird. I think maybe because I never watched a lot of horror movies, but it's just not a thing that I think I was used to. And I, like, not that it's bad, I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about nudity in films.
I can tell.
Excuse me.
I can tell. We went way off track there.
What?
But-
What are you talking about?
Whatever. We then have Naomi Harris playing Selena. And she did a movie.
She was fantastic.
She did great in this movie. She was in some Bond movies. She was Tia Dalma in the Pirates of the Caribbean series.
Oh,
I love this
yeah.
actress. She's great. I love this girl. Brendan Gleeson is Frank.
Yeah.
I had to go do a little look for him.
Yes.
He's Mad-Eye Moody in Harry Potter.
Yes.
Great
he's
actor.
in a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But he's one of those actors that can kind of sort of change his appearance. Like, not completely, but when you're so used to him as Mad-Eye Moody, and then he looks different in all these films.
He
it's
looks
just like,
normal.
what?
He looks normal, middle-aged
Right.
dad.
Yeah. With a daughter hanging
With a daughter.
out, chilling.
Speaking of, Megan Burns plays his daughter Hannah.
Okay, so was she in anything else?
No.
No, because she didn't
She had
look
a
very
sing-
familiar.
She had a singing career, apparently.
Oh.
So good for her. We also have the great Christopher Eccleston as Major Henry West.
Oh, this is the Doctor Who dude
Yes.
that you were talking about?
Oh,
okay.
yes, Doctor Who.
Cool.
He was a villain in Gone in 60 Seconds. He's a bit of a big name. He's a big...
And those are
He's
two
good.
things I don't watch, so I was like, oh, that guy, he's an actor, that's cool.
He's a good British actor. He's
Awesome.
more well-known guys
Got a
out
good
there.
voice. I did,
Oh, yeah.
hear that about him.
He also did some voice acting. I forget which one, but he did something recent that's pretty big. I want to say Star Wars. I could be wrong.
I believe it. I would totally believe it.
Noah Huntley plays Mark, who didn't last that long. And yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
about
then
it.
we had a bunch of guys who were just in the army.
Yeah. Yeah, a bunch
Nothing
of no
too...
names.
No one too really well
Yep,
known.
just a bunch of army dudes.
Yeah, just side guys who are cannon
Yeah.
fodder.
The main characters that we follow are Jim, Frank, Hannah, and Selena.
Yep.
Those are the four that we
They're
follow
main-
for
yeah,
almost
they're
the whole
main-
movie.
Yep, they're main antagonists.
Yes.
Protagonists, not antagonists.
Yeah.
And it's cool how we get to kind of get Jim's view of going from, no one to meeting Mark and Selena and
Yeah.
kind of finding out what's going on
Yep.
and being told your parents are dead.
Yep.
And he didn't believe him.
Like, Jim, read the room. You know,
Oh,
like...
you would do the same thing.
I don't know. I feel like...
You would need that closure. You need to know for sure.
Would I, though? I don't know. I feel like when you realize everybody around you is dead, like, they're not just going to be chilling at home waiting for you. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't go to my parents' house. I would go to, like, safe spots, that kind of stuff, and search for them.
You would hope that they would have survived. You would have that. You would have that.
Right. Definitely. Like, 100%. But I don't think I would ever go to their house. Like, that's the thing that bugs me in these movies. Is, like, yes, they're the one family on the block that's going to survive. Like, don't be dumb. You know? But I know it makes for a good movie. But,
it does. It totally does.
It's just silly that, like, you'd think that of everybody, they're the only ones that would survive. Like, that's really silly thinking. And, like, maybe it's just something you cling to.
Yeah, cling to. You got that hope that maybe they're still alive. And then some people do the closure. Some are like, okay, whatever, just move on.
Yeah, I mean, it was a touching scene in this movie, but it was just kind of, at the same time, it was like, ugh, bah, grr. Because you know what's going to happen before it happens. Like, you know, us as the viewers, you're like, come on, Jim, pull yourself together.
Although they do that in Shaun of the Dead, and it kind of works.
Right.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of. So let's go into the plot.
Let's do it.
Let's go through it. So, a highly contagious, rage-inducing virus is unleashed in Great Britain after a group of animal liberation activists, PETA, free chimpanzees infected with this virus in a laboratory in Cambridge.
Yes.
And I get it. They meant good, but if it's in a laboratory and a scientist is telling them, no, they're infected, kill them.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe your morals and your ideologies are a little skewed at this moment.
And we talked about this before, and by we, I mean I forced you to talk about this with me before, where, like, it's that thing where I always think, like, Thanos is, like, was he really the bad guy? Because if they played the movie from his point of view, he would have been the hero.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's this thing where, like, you feel like you're doing the right thing when it's, like, you know, is it really the right thing? Like, in the eyes of who? Like,
That's the basis of war.
Right.
You got two sides, and both sides think they are the heroes.
Exactly.
Which one are the villains?
Yeah.
Well, it comes from a certain point of view.
Yes, and you
depends on what side you talk and ask.
Yes, and that's why you, like, vilify, you know, the other side to make it seem like what you're doing is okay.
Propaganda.
Yes, and it's just like, scares me.
And that's always, like, in Saving Private Ryan, they really push that when, yes, I'll admit the whole Nazi Hitler thing, that was bad. He was the bad guy in this.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't start off that bad. He just wanted to get some revenge on World War I and all his little crazy ideologies.
Yes.
Then he went quite mad and
Yes.
blamed every other race that was not the perfect race.
Exactly.
And then he went from dictator to full-blown evil person.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, but, you know, in his eyes, everything that he was doing was the right.
That's
like,
right.
And he convinced people that this was the right way, and if you didn't agree, then you can die.
He was pumping out, he had, like, the news people in his pocket.
Yeah.
And they were spreading so many lies about America, the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Every other country that was not on their side were doing all these atrocities of people.
Yes.
And that's how it works. That's how war works.
Exactly. You're exactly right. And it's scary.
Oh,
you know, it makes you think, and especially with the internet and everything nowadays, most countries can do their own research, other than the ones that are obviously
China.
run by, you know, like dictators and stuff, but you can do your own kind of research, and I think that helps with the, you know, flow of information, instead of, you know, like, what is really going on, you know? So, it's a little off topic again, sorry.
That's fine, no. Spreading quickly among the populace and resulting in societal collapse. 28 days after the initial outbreak, bicycle courier Jim awakens from a coma in St. Thomas Hospital in London.
Naked.
Naked. Very naked.
Yeah.
Where he discovers the city deserted. Wandering through London, he got clothes now, and finding signs of catastrophe, he's attacked by humans infected by the virus and rescued by survivors Selena and Mark.
Yes, he runs to a church and sees a whole bunch of people in there. And then he kind of yells, hey, or something, doesn't he? It's like, hey.
Or hello.
Or hello,
he's
yeah.
hello.
And then a couple people kind of wrestle.
And
then,
the look in their face is just
yes.
food,
Yep.
hate.
And then
And he's like, his reaction is visibly, what the hell? What?
Yes.
That's not expected.
And then the pastor comes out, because he's kind of on a higher level, and then the pastor comes out and starts wobbling towards him and, like tries to eat him and attack him. And, it's
He
creepy.
smacks him with his bag of cans. And
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry,
He's like, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done it.
Shit. Then he runs out. The two inform Jim about the virus, which is believed to have spread worldwide.
Yes.
At Jim's request, the group travels to his parents' house in Deptford, where he learns they committed suicide.
Yes.
And that's a sad little moment, because they got a picture of him as a young
Yes.
child on,
That's so
on his
sad.
mom's. And the back said, Jim, we made sure not to wake you up. Now we're sleeping with you. Please don't wake up.
Yes.
XOXO.
Yes.
And
So I wonder why he wasn't attacked in the hospital.
it looked like he was blocked in.
Okay.
Or everyone just kind of ran out and no one looked in to get him.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be like any infected in the hospital or surrounding area.
No, it was empty.
Yeah.
It was right empty. That night, Mark is bitten during an infected attack, and Selena kills him before he turns.
Yes.
So we learn that this has the same zombie rules. Bit, you get infected. Saliva.
But this is almost immediate. Like she said, you have 10 to 20 seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 'Cause, like it literally happens that fast. And she kind of looks at him, and she's like, Mark, and he's like, no, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet.
I'm fine.
Yeah, and she looks at him, and she just starts bashing him with her
She cuts his arm
machete.
off first.
Yeah.
With the infected arm, he's bitten the arm.
Yeah.
And then when he's down screaming, she finishes him off.
Exactly.
As opposed to just cauterize the wound, saying, "You're fine. Get up. Walk it off."
And Jim is like, what? And she's like, I could tell in his eyes that he knew he was,
infected.
about to turn.
Yeah.
Ugh. Still sucks though, because really right before that, Mark had opened up and said his whole story and everything that happened to him. You're like, all right, Mark, you're a pretty good dude. And even Selena, after she's like,
he tells a really bad joke.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I laugh at it.
And Mark says that she's like, Mark was the one with all the plans, so what's your plan? And he's like,
Find a cure. And
yeah.
She's like, we got two options then. Option one, find a cure that doesn't exist. Or option two, we fall in love and fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
option two, that's not terrible. It's not off the table yet.
So the whole movie, every time they'd like have a minute alone, we'd be like,
so is option two back on?
Option two, or
they'd kiss. No, option two's back on the table. All right.
Hooray!
And then things would go sour. I'm like, nope, it's off again. And I was gonna say about this scene here. We learned a few things that they're attracted to light. So these infected are visually stimulated.
Yes.
Not so much, and sound.
And sound.
But
Sound
not
is a
smell.
huge one. Yes.
Not smell. And we find out that if it's the blood in your mouth, you're infected. Or if you have like in a cut and a wound, you get their blood in, you're infected.
Yes.
Or if you get bit. So
yeah,
saliva,
it's saliva and blood. Yeah.
All right, so we got some rules now. After leaving the house, Jim and Selena encounter cab driver Frank and his daughter Hannah at Balfron Tower.
Oh, he's a cab driver?
Yep.
Oh.
You didn't notice from his cab?
That makes me love him even more.
And he says, get in the cab.
Oh, I thought it was just like British slang for like car.
No.
Okay.
Frank informs Jim and Selena of a military broadcast offering protection to survivors at a blockade in Manchester.
They also never say what happened to his wife, do they?
I think she got infected.
Right.
And, And also, they never said, but I guess the backstory for Selena is she's so bitter and dark about this because she had to kill her parents to save her brother.
Oh.
Only to find out that he was infected.
Ooh.
So she's got a pretty rough take on the whole matter.
Ooh. Okay. That's rough.
Yeah. With supplies dwindling, he asks them to accompany him and Hannah to the blockade. The two accept, and the group boards Frank's cab to Manchester and become close with each other during the trip.
It's so cute. It's sort of like a sweet montage where they're like go to a grocery store and buy all their favorite snacks.
Yeah.
And buy all their favorite snacks. Oh my God, Alana. They steal them.
Well, no. Frank
Plunder.
Frank leaves his Visa card at the cashier's. They
Right,
pay,
right.
sort of, kind of.
Kind of, sort of.
And
They have like a picnic. And...
there's a picnic. They have a little bit of an encounter in a subway, which Jim is right against.
Yes.
But Frank's like, nope, my car, my rules, away we go.
Yep.
And this is a cool scene where they blow a tire.
Yes.
And they hear the infected. Well, they first hear rats coming.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get the infected coming. And they're holding the car up while Hannah changes the tire as fast as she can.
Yes.
And she does. She does a really good job. It's like,
yeah, she's ripping that thing out, like throwing those lug nuts on. Man, yeah,
Tightens
she's
her belt.
she's amazing.
she does good.
Yes.
She's a tough girl. And we're guessing she's what, 13, 14?
Ish, yeah, right
Yeah.
around there. Yeah.
When they reach the blockade, however, they find it seemingly deserted. And
Dun,
Frank is
dun, dun.
infected when a drop of blood falls into his eye.
Oh, this is the worst part. This actually broke my heart. Because, like, of all of them, you kind of start to sympathize with Frank. 'Cause he's just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And, like, opened these two up into his home and was like, yeah, you know, like, stay with me. He gave them, you know, celebratory liquor and shared his food, like, no problem.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And we also, I forgot to mention, before this, they go to get some more fuel. And Jim ends up killing one of the infected, which turns out to be a young boy.
Yes, a child.
So he gets his first kill. And, yeah, you can tell it bothers him when Selena's asking him, you know, funny things. Like, nothing, let's go. It's like, Jim, nothing, let's go.
Yes, yep.
He doesn't want to talk about it. He's a little
No.
shook up by this one.
Which, like, totally makes sense. Like, you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
bludgeon an infected child to death. Like, that's not okay.
No.
Ugh.
So Frank's infected, and he has a nice little touching last word with his daughter.
Yeah.
You know, I love you, you know that? She's like, Dad, come on. Like, no, I love you, stay away.
Yeah, and she tries to walk towards him, and he pushes her down, and Jim runs over to him, and Selena kind of notices, and she's like, you have to do it, you have to do it.
Yeah,
Like,
kill
he's
him,
infected.
kill him,
Yeah.
kill him, and then the soldiers arrive soon afterwards, and they kill Frank.
Yes.
Poor Frank.
I'm so sad about it. I loved Frank. He was so good.
He was such a nice guy.
He was such a nice guy. Ugh. And realistic, and ugh.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, before this, we have after their picnic, they kind of ask, how is Selena sleeping so well? We find out she's got, not morphine, she's got Valium. And he kind of asks, Hannah asks, can I have some? And he's, nope, can't have any. And then finally Jim's like, yeah, let her have some, let her get some sleep.
Yes.
And so we find out that Selena's got a little Valium stash with her, which is going to come to play later. The remaining survivors are brought to a fortified mansion under the command of Major Henry West. However, the safety promised by the soldier turns out to be false when West reveals to Jim that the broadcast was intended to lure female survivors into sexual slavery to repopulate the world.
And it's like such a rough sort of a scene because they welcome these people in, they show them, they see how efficient they are with killing these things. They're treating them not bad. They're feeding them, all that kind of stuff. And then one of the guys gets a little handsy with Selena. And Jim's like, whoa, 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 and steps in. And then one of the guys, I forget the guy's name. What's the good soldier's name?
Jones?
No.
I forget. Oh,
Riddler or something. Or
I know which one you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, one of the
Mailer.
soldiers, yes.
Private
And
Mailer.
he's like, hey, like stop it.
I take it back. Those guy who's chained up. I don't have his name here.
Anyways, and he's like, okay, that's enough. And whatever, they all kind of go back, and then the major guy's like, hey, Jim, do you want to have a drink with me? And he's like, okay. And that's when he's like, oh, so by the way, I promised all the guys women, so... And Jim's like...
you brought two of them here,
yeah.
so...
And Jim's like, what? And so he runs out and tries to pull them all out. He's like, okay, we have to go, like, right now. Yeah. And then they knock Jim out and grab Hannah and Selena.
and the one sergeant, he tries to stand up for them.
Yes, the same
he
guy
gets
again.
knocked out too.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And they chain up him and Jim to radiators, and
Yeah. Jim refuses to be complacent with the soldiers' plan, and they attempt to execute him.
yes.
They basically they send him and the sergeant out to be executed.
Yeah.
Um,
The one guy goes like crazy and wants to stab him, and the guy who's with him is like, no, like don't do that. And so he shoots him instead, and then they start to tussle because he really wanted to stab this guy because he was kind of like, talking down to him, being like you can't do that. And while they're fighting, Jim escapes.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
escapes.
Nope.
And again, I keep going back into the plot here. When they're showing them around,
Yes.
Wes is showing Jim around. He shows them Mailer,
Yes.
who's an infected soldier from 2 days ago.
Yeah.
He's chained up, and he's kind of left in like the courtyard.
Yeah, we talked about this guy before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just so we know in this whole
Sure.
plot, he's in there.
Yeah.
And Jim's a little. I think that was the start where Jim's like, "What the heck is going on here?"
Yes.
So Jim escapes. Jim tricks Wes into leaving the mansion, and he releases Private Mailer, who's infected.
Yes.
An uninfected soldier kept chained for observation.
And can you imagine, like, what a risk that is when you know that Selena and Hannah are in there still?
Oh yeah.
Oof. But he knows that they're badass women.
Yeah, and they're trying to get Hannah and Selena to dress up nice
Yes.
for the boys
Yes.
to take turns. And
Huh.
if this was real life, yes, this would happen.
Yes, I would absolutely.
There would be
have-
guys who would be, all right, no rules. I'm going to go have sex with as much women as I want, whether they like it or not.
Yeah. Yes.
Sadly, that's the truth. That would happen.
It's horrifying, and it's
yeah.
like, it's just, it makes no sense, but yeah, it's disgusting, and it would totally happen now.
Sadly,
But,
it would.
yeah, it's just that something, they think that they're doing something right.
Yeah.
When they're doing something horrible.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not good. Not good. So, Private Mailer gets released. This results in the deaths of West's men. Jim, Selena, and Hannah attempt to leave in Frank's cab, but find West sitting in the back seat.
Yes.
Also, Hannah is high as a kite because Selena realized what's going to happen. There's no way out. She was going to dope up Hannah so she wouldn't care what's
Yes.
happening. Ugh.
And
And she even asked her, "You're going to kill me?" She's like, no. This is so you don't care.
Exactly.
So Selena kind of accepted what's going to happen.
Yes.
But being kind of a motherly figure to
Yes.
Hannah, and being a woman too. She that we're in for a rough time.
Yes.
Because Hannah is 14.
Yes.
This is not going to go well for her. At least she won't suffer.
Yes. And Jim, when he's going through, they kind of like skipped over everything that he kind of does. He like stabs a guy, and
Jim loses it. Like he knows
Yes.
that these guys are bad.
and then the guy that initially tried to attack Selena, what was his name? Miller?
Nope.
Is that him?
I forget. Mitchell.
Yes, Mitchell. And when he's with Selena again, while Jim's like killing everybody, and he runs in and attacks him while he has Selena, and he like just brutally beats him, like slams his head against the wall, like pushes his eyes out, like he goes nuts.
Yeah, and Selena thinks that he's infected.
Infected, yes.
100% thinks he's infected.
So she goes to beat him, and he's standing there, and she can see his eyes are normal, and she's like, "Oh my god!"
And they have a tender kiss, and
Yeah.
option 2 is back on the table.
Option 2's back on.
And Hannah smashes his head with a vase or something.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "I thought he was biting you." I'm like, "No, we're kissing. I was kissing her." Oh, he's like, "Are you high?" And Sue's like, "Let's not talk about that right now.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
It's our future problem.
we don't talk about that." So we find West back in the cab back seat.
Yes.
West shoots Jim.
Yes.
Because he kind of killed his men. I don't
That's what
blame
he
Wes.
says. He's like, "You killed all my men,"
Yeah.
and then he just fires.
Yeah. Hannah retaliates by putting the cab in reverse, allowing Mailer to grab West through the rear window and kill him.
Yes. She deserved a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And he's not happy. West has a rough death.
Yes.
He's screaming, and Mailer just gets a bit of revenge on him.
Yes. Yes.
And the 3 survivors escape from the mansion.
Yes.
But also, Jim is shot, so we see very small snippets
Yes.
of them trying to save Jim.
Yeah.
We see him giving him, they're in a hospital, we see him trying to set him up on a gurney, giving him compressions,
Yes.
trying to bring him back to life, and we come to Jim waking up another 20 days later.
Yep.
Jim's recovers at a remote cottage in Cumbria, while the infected are shown dying of starvation. Oh, hey now.
Yes.
As a Finnish fighter jet flies overhead, Jim, Selena, and Hannah unfurl a huge cloth banner spelling the word hello.
Yes.
The 3 survivors optimistically watch the jet as they hope the pilot has spotted them. And we kind of, I guess, hear that he's calling in a helicopter.
Yes.
So they kind of get saved.
Yay.
And
But
also...
and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, and also before this, Selena believes the whole world is done. Major West thinks the whole world is done. But I think it's when he's escaping, Jim is escaping from being shot and killed, he looks up and he sees a jet fly over.
Yes.
And he's like, well, that just says that they're survivors.
Yeah, that there's people out there who can still use technology.
Yeah. And the sergeant, when they're chained up before they get executed, he kind of says this is a big whole conspiracy.
Yes.
The whole world couldn't be infected. They just not evacuated. They basically put a big wall around.
I was gonna
UK.
say, yeah.
They isolated Britain.
Yeah.
Because that was ground zero.
Yeah. You can't let it get out.
Exactly. So I think that's how they're seeing it as. The world is fine.
Yeah.
Britain's fucked.
Yes.
And they're just kind of letting things happen and...
Let everybody die of starvation.
Coming in, doing checks, and if they find survivors, then great, we'll pick them up. If not, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
So at the end, we kind of are... There's a sequel, 28 weeks later.
But there's none of the same actors in it.
No.
Which makes me sad. Because I would like to continue this story. Like, it's interesting, and I'd like to know sort of, like, what happens after, you know? Like, it's one of those movies that could very easily have gone on.
Yep. Oh, there is talk of having a 28 months later.
Right.
So we could find out what happens.
Yeah.
They could
they'll
bring him
sign
back.
up
I would
again.
hope to bring him back.
That would be awesome.
That would be.
I would love that. Yeah. Yeah. That was the movie. It was good. I liked it. It was different than all of the other ones we've watched.
Very. That's what I like about this. It's a very different take.
Yeah.
They're zombies, but they're not zombies.
Yeah. It kind of
good.
gives you a different, like we've already talked about, it kind of gives you a different perspective of like, you know, this isn't a dead person. This is just somebody with an infection, really. Like, maybe there is a cure. You never know. You know what I mean? Like, it's not actually a dead person.
That's right.
So messed up, yeah. Oof, morality issues.
How would you rate this movie? How many
I'd probably
Horr-Gasms?
given it like a 3.5. Like, I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I just, again, it wasn't super scary for me. The soldier part, like, I understand why it was there. I kind of wish they would have stuck to just zombies, but I understand that when you throw in the depravity of humans, it makes it just that much more fucked up.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, so I totally understand why it happened. But then we watched an alternative hidden ending type thing.
Yeah, it was like the radical ending with just storyboards.
Ending. Yes. And I loved that idea. That was a cool idea. But, I don't know.
That ending was very, I Am Legend.
Excuse me. Yes, exactly.
It had a huge I Am Legend feel to it.
Yes, it's it was very much like, oh, you know, we're going to go to ground zero and find a cure, and oh my god, we're going to cure people, and isn't that crazy? And, like, I kind of like that a bit, but, yeah. I loved it. I thought it was such a different movie that we've been watching.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, what would you rate it?
3.5. 3.5 to 4.
Sure.
When I first saw it, it'd be 4. Now, since I've seen it, and it's not as scary as I used to be,
Yes.
3.5. But
Some
still
of
a very good movie.
The camera, and because we're spoiled because it's 2020, it was kind of blurry almost. And like I understand that it's part of the times, and maybe it was meant to be that way, but it just, when you're so used to remastered things and like crisp, clear, viewing. It's just
I
kind of
think
like
that was on purpose.
same.
It was a very very soft, kind of fuzzy filter
Yes.
thrown on there.
Yes.
Some of the camera shots were, I don't want to say amateur,
Right.
but not.
But they felt weird.
They
right?
felt low budgets.
Yeah.
Because you could kind of zoom in right in behind the guy shooting. A few wide shots for the infected when they're running towards our characters.
Yes.
It's not a Hollywood production.
I agree.
And it
yeah.
shows, but you don't have to have that.
Totally.
It feels right
Yes.
by how they filmed it.
I agree.
I loved it. I loved what they did.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that, like, it doesn't make it a bad movie. And that's
No.
when you can tell a good quality movie where, like, there's some cons, but overall it's still such a good movie.
Yeah, there's like no CGI that I saw
Nope.
at all in the movie. The effects are great.
Really good. Yeah. And you didn't need many.
No.
You know, you need a few blood packs.
No.
You need some colored contacts.
Have
some,
a
like,
tube, I guess, inside your mouth when the infected spit
Exactly.
out the blood.
Yeah.
Ugh, it looked gross, but it worked. It was a very good effect.
Really good. Yeah.
Nothing too terribly graphic for the
Nope.
deaths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides
Good.
besides marking his arm cut off, or Mitchell, who.
Yes.
Hey, what's
Speaking
the
of
kill the
which.
flick? What's the Kabbalah kill the flick?
Well, she is completely passed out right now, but me hitting her in the face earlier reminded her that kill the flick is Mitchell. And it's when Jim just goes fucking savage on him.
Like the blood spraying when he hit his head against the brick wall.
Yeah.
And then shoving his thumbs into his eyes and just
Ugh.
squeezing.
And there's a shot where his fingers are like fully in his skull.
Oh, yeah.
And his eyes are like poking up through, and you're like, oh, okay. So that's
Mitchell
the thing.
is having a rough time with that.
He is having a heckin' rough time.
And he had it coming. He was a dick.
He was the worst.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, yeah, something was wrong with him. He was like one of those bros, like, I can take whatever I want because I saved you, so now I can have you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's gross. Why are you gross?
Yeah,
But-
that's he doesn't get option 2.
Nope.
Nope.
No option 2 for Mitchell.
No. And Jim tried it earlier when, after Frank died, he thinks, hey, just a kiss of distraction.
Yes.
And so he's like, yep, nope, and she walks out.
Yes. Yep.
But then after she realizes that Jim wasn't infected and saving her, option two
was back on the
was
table.
100%. As soon as they get out of this,
Hooray.
she's going to rock his world.
Yes. Which they both deserve, you know.
I think so.
Found love in a hopeless place. oh my God. And next week, we're watching One Cut of a Day. I love this movie
haven't
so
seen it.
much. I know, and I'm so excited. This movie is nothing like any of the movies we watched. And
so let's give a brief, what is One Cut of the Dead? So explain to our victims what makes this movie so different.
So, the movie is actually in 3 parts. If I can... It's hard to talk anything about it without giving stuff away. But, like, the first 30 minutes of the movie are filmed in one cut. And it's
Cool.
about zombies. That's literally all I can say without giving the whole movie away.
So by one cut means from the first half hour, from start to finish of that one little scene, they don't stop. They don't switch
don't
to a
stop.
different camera.
Nope.
It is one
cut.
single take.
It's one take, one camera. And they
Whoa.
only did it twice. The actual actors only got 2 takes
I was
to do
going to
it.
ask. I was going to wonder how many times it took.
Well, twice.
Twice.
And it's because the first time their camera died. Yeah. That's why. And they
That's
couldn't
impressive.
splice it together well enough that they said, nope, fuck it, we're starting from scratch.
Yep. Reset.
Yeah. And
Wow.
if any, like, I don't know, I don't do many things in 30-minute segments fine. Like, even this, to do, like so many times. And, like, even I'd love to, like, edit out my coughing and stuff. But, that's just my life. So.
Nah, leave it in.
But that 30 minutes to talk and act exactly what you need, and you'll see how incredibly hard it was to do. Like, it's really impressive, yeah. I think everybody should watch this. I believe it's a Korean film. It is dubbed. No, it's not dubbed. It's just subtitles. So it's not one of those movies that you can put on and play on your phone. Like, you actually have to actively watch it. So worth it. It is such a fun movie. I think you're really going to like it. I think you're going to appreciate it. Yeah.
Awesome.
But you get to hear all about that next week, I guess. But thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. This episode was brought to you by our executive producer, Ichabod. We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, Twitter at Gasm Horror, and YouTube at the Horr-Gasm Podcast. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week because we have such sights to show you. Plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience. Bye!